2013. 2013. Here we go.
So we arrive to London. Some of us went home for Christmas. Some of us stayed there for the New Year. I remember I went to Louis Tomlinson's house for New Year's.
Did you?
Yeah, I did, and I was staying with my aunt who lives in south of London. I think it's south.
Surrey. Wasn't it Surrey?
Oh yeah, you had a relative in England.
Yeah, which was awesome for me. And then I go to Louis Tomlinson's. Oh no, Louis invites me to his party. I mean, this is just a total sidetrack, but Louis invites me to his party, and I go, "Hey, bro, I'd love to come, but I can't get there. I have no idea how to get there." He's like, "Oh, what do you mean? Just take an Addison Lee." And I was like, "See, I would, but the thing is I have no money." so that makes things
They were expensive,
a
man.
little bit harder for me. And he was like, "Isn't an Addison Lee only like $150?" I was like, "Yes, like I said,
We
I have
live
no
different
money."
existences at this
yes,
point,
like I said,
Louis.
I have no money. And he goes, "Dude, I'll get you the Addison Lee." And I was like, "All right, sick." And then he got me the Addison Lee to his house, and I had a great night. Ended up drinking, and it was great. And then I remember
could animate the shit out of this.
Yeah, there could be, and he had fucking fireworks at his house. It was pretty crazy. He was living good. End of
20.
Yeah, beginning of 2013, he was living good, and then as I was there, I was like, okay, now I got to go home, and I realized I didn't ask him to get me a car home, because he only said, "I'll get you a car one
Yeah, that was
way."
the deal.
That was the deal. And I was like, fuck, I'm not going to ask the guy to get me another car home.
That's
Which
very
you did.
un-Australian.
So I called the Addison Lee to go home.
Oh no.
And I got back, and then I woke my aunt up in the middle of the night, and I said, "Hey, can you pay for this cab for me, because I don't have any money?" And she came down and she paid the cab. So that was the very beginning of the 2013 year for me.
Callum and I were in Cowdenbeath.
Yeah, Cowdenbeath, Scotland, Edinburgh.
We were
Is that was this year?
we were throwing back tenants and prawn.
tenants.
Wait, how old is everyone at this point, by the
I
way?
honestly don't know.
old enough.
We started the band when we were 14, and then now we're in Scotland drinking tenants.
And now we're in Scotland drinking beers.
Yeah,
It's
no.
already VH1.
Yeah, I remember we watched a lot of Lord of the Rings.
I love that that's how 2013 started. Where were you?
I was at the fucking arse end of the plane on the way back. I remember getting on that second flight back to go. It's 2 flights to get London to Sydney, as you guys know very well. We did it so many times. The 14 hours to get to Dubai, and then from Dubai to get the 7-hour flight. But this time I was going through Hong Kong, I think, and it was actually pretty rad because it looked really cool on the plane. But I hadn't slept the whole time, and it was just that's what I was doing. Then Prue went home. Prue went away, somewhere.
Oh, I think you had a vacation planned.
Yeah.
And-
Every
and
year.
Liz made you go home.
Yeah, every year. Like my family would go to some beach house. It was good though. It was a bit annoying to get on that flight though. That's for sure. But I had nowhere else to go because we had no house there. You can't.
Yeah. And then I remember as we started to realize that we're about to be playing the O2 Arena in London, we started writing with. I remember the first week of writing we did was with Jamie Scott and the other guy. Who's the other
Tommy.
guy?
Tommy.
Yeah, and they were in
Wait, wasn't
Blue.
Julian Bonetta there at one point?
Yeah, Julian Bonetta
Shut up
and
for a
Ryan.
minute. Yeah.
Yeah.
They popped in.
Yeah, wow.
We could probably play a snippet or two.
Of those songs,
Of
we have a
those
couple.
songs.
Yeah.
What do we have? Yeah.
Wasn't it Over and Over?
Yeah.
Yeah, we
I-
wrote
I
over
came
and
from
over. But we-
Tonight I almost fell in love. And then there was The Borderline.
Oh,
yeah, she don't cry. Yeah.
And then we wrote a song with Julian Bonetta called Loser, which wasn't very good.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
And then You Were Not Alone.
You Were Not Alone.
But
And 10,000
You Were Not
and
Alone.
10,000 Miles.
Oh yeah.
10,000 miles.
The
That's
way. I know we
Feels
did
like
write
it's
that song.
Is
Oh,
that the
wait.
next Dan and Shay hit?
No, that sounds like.
Thousand
it was
miles
so
away.
way.
All I
Really
really
wanna
want to
live.
say. Yeah, something.
Yeah, something like that.
Only wish you knew.
And that was the first time that we'd ever written with like pro songwriters, and
Yeah.
we fucking just faked it until we
Faked it.
made it. We walked in there when they started writing shit. We were like, Yeah, totally.
Not
Oh,
bad.
yeah, that'd
Not-
be good.
Not really something we would do, but
Just totally,
like we're a band
Two
willing
EPs
to
in.
take risks.
totally just fucking talking shit.
I remember writing for a long. We must have written in the year previous in December because I remember writing for fucking ages. That was our whole life for a long time. We lived in that house in Ealing.
You and Cal at the end of this wrote with Christian and Joel a bunch.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, there's
Dude,
a
I just-
bunch of that.
For some reason in my head, we had like 6 months of like
Yeah,
living
me
in
too.
Ealing, going to the train.
So between every leg of the tour that we did with 1D, we that was when we wrote like Good Girls, and that was when we did like a couple other like one-off things there.
We would
and
do
then-
shows in between
Yeah,
on the days off and stuff on the 1D tours everywhere.
yeah, we would do like. I think at that point we were doing acoustic shows. Still,
Yeah.
we would just like show up somewhere and play acoustically.
And
But
2013, I guess, is the year that we're trying to create public disruption. So we would do the meetups at Marble Arch. We would do like trying to get like our fans to meet up in these public places
public
to make
places,
noise
yeah.
for the band, you know?
yeah, and we lived in this. So when we got to London, we lived in this place called Ealing. I remember W53DH was
Ashbourne
the
Road.
On the blue,
Ashbourne Road.
on the
61
blue line.
Ashbourne
Road.
Road. Yep.
Ashbourne Road.
And we got there, and then we'd have different parents cycling in and out, taking care of us.
First was Karen.
Yeah, Karen was there first.
Second was
Liz, and then Joy.
Mm-hmm.
Yep, I think that was the beginning. Remember, Emery popped in and out. She
I
popped
don't
in
think
and
I
out.
needed looking after.
Yeah.
Mum and I had an agreement when I left high school. All right, see ya.
Yep. Good luck.
Yeah, good luck.
And we
to
lived
ya.
in this. We lived in this house that was honestly, I would love to go back there one day. It would
Yeah.
be really awesome. And it had 3 bedrooms. One was always reserved for the mother, whichever mother was in town.
Yep.
And then the other 2, we were like, let's split. You know, who wants to sleep in what? And then me and Ash took one room, and then Callum and Luke's took the other. And Callum's bed at the time, sounds fucking
Well,
dumb.
we used to like
We used to wrestle.
WWE each other.
Yeah.
we used to fucking Stone Cold Steve Austin each other.
Yeah, honestly, saying that we used to wrestle would be like that would be like selling it short. Like we would. It was fucking.
We tried to
It was
beat the shit out of
SmackDown
each other.
versus Raw, like 24/7.
Yeah, we're breaking raw materials.
Yeah. And there was one day that I think Luke RKO'd Callum onto his bed, and the whole thing collapsed in all of the boards or whatever. And Callum tried to fix the boards,
It
but
broke.
was-
You split my bed in half,
Yeah.
literally
Yeah.
straight
Yeah.
down the middle.
and
We fucking smashed it.
and then we said, all right, how are we gonna fix this? And then so we walked
Oh
we
my
walked down the
God.
street, in the freezing cold to Polski Schlep, and
The Polish general store.
yeah, which was the local.
Surprisingly common there.
Yeah, totally. And we go there and we said, all right, let's look around at some different objects. What could fix the bed? And we spot, a 24-pack of toilet paper.
Yeah, toilet rolls.
And we say, oh, this is perfect.
This is
will
perfect.
work.
This is durable.
Yeah, it's durable, nice and squishy. It won't make the bed
Except,
uncomfortable.
and it worked great for the first 3 days.
But
Yeah.
then we started to run out of toilet
And
paper.
then, and then we realized, we didn't get any. We said, we didn't get any extra
It's all
toilet
flooding
paper.
back now. The funniest part. Oh no. Okay. The funniest part would be like I'd be sleeping in bed and I'd hear like someone like fucking rustling. Taking the toilet paper.
So mid-sleep, you're just getting a little bit lower every time.
Yeah, you take one roll at a time.
Yeah, we're not
And
monsters.
So eventually, Callum's bed slowly just caved back in.
So we're back to
Just-
square one.
I'd have to keep buying toilet paper.
And we'd repeat the cycle.
We didn't try and find a more permanent solution. It was just like, this works. Let's just get more toilet paper. This will fix it.
It's clearly
And
working.
so anyway, and then we lived there, and then we saw snow for the first time, which was really, really interesting because
It's
it
wet.
was.
It's wet rain.
I mean, I really like to add in we're just so naive at this point as
So
well.
naive.
We didn't have any real desires. We didn't have any other goals
the
apart
band.
from to write
It
songs.
was just that.
And we would pretty much do live streams all the time.
Yeah.
It was all about like
Yep.
Just getting the train and the bus everywhere.
Yep.
Yeah,
many.
especially in
It's a real bummer because we thought, oh yeah, we're going to London. We'd be catching trains and buses our whole goddamn lives at that point.
like, oh, we've hit it big now. Let's, maybe things will start being great.
But I remember our influence as a band like started to shift in terms of like it being very Britishly centered. Like bands like McFly, like people and Busted as well.
Mhm.
Bands who had multi vocalists, in which we could see us like performing similar venues.
Totally.
That was an interesting. Before that, it was more like derivative of pop punk and
Yeah.
Well, we just hadn't seen any other bands that had done anything like we were aiming for. So I think the discovering some British pop rock bands helped us make sense of where the hell we were going with our stuff, and how to market our band and how to tie it all in together.
And I remember when we were originally talking about it with, who was managing us at the time, and as this One Direction thing is about to, is coming and we're about to, be put in front of more people than I think we can even imagine, we decided to see not a band therapist. What was Alex Cadis? She was like
she was a media trainer.
Media
like a
trainer.
media trainer, right? And we went into that, and we're 16 years old at this point, and she was like, so we went in to talk to her, and we were like, okay, so what's the purpose? Like, what do we, what do you guys want to get across as a message? And I remember day one, we were like, biggest band in the world. We're like, that's it. And she's like, all right, well, what else? We were like, nah, nothing.
Nothing
Just-
else.
Biggest band in the world.
Yeah, she taught us some great metaphors for group function. Like she taught us a lot of easy ways to visualize communicating as a group and delivering a message clearly. She taught us how to speak with other people, and so we were understood and not just too ochre and Australian.
Yeah.
And kind of helped us kind of develop our language.
Yeah.
Which was something that we really needed to do because we would just be four mumbling young Aussies who hadn't spoken in interviews and stuff before,
I remember the two things that I think that she taught us were, we did it in our living room. It was so funny.
Yeah, I know. I remember. And we also didn't know how to furnish a house.
Yeah.
So there was a couch and a table and a TV.
Mm-hmm.
That's it.
Fucking nailed it. What else do you need? What else do you need, boys? Just a bit of friendship. What was I going to say? Oh, yeah, the bus thing. What was the bus metaphor?
Metaphor.
People, the band are on the bus. We're driving.
Yeah, we're driving.
We're driving, and people might come on and off the bus.
No. Wait. We are the bus. Sorry.
Wait.
The band is the bus. The band was the bus, and people get on and off the bus, but we are the bus.
And we're always going to stay on.
Because we're the
always-
bus. Because
yeah.
we're the bus.
We're always gonna
Okay.
something like that.
Something like that. And the other thing
I
was...
guess she was saying people are coming to use you.
Yeah.
Get ready.
Yeah, I almost wish she said that.
Made it a little bit more clear.
And the other thing was, don't, obviously not in all life forever, but don't walk into a room until the whole band walks in
Band
the room.
effect.
Yeah, the
Yeah.
band effect.
Band effect.
Like
yeah, she taught
record
us how to be
label.
like a unit.
Yeah.
That's a priceless thing to learn.
That's very
Honestly,
good.
though,
Unity.
it made me feel a little bit too dependent.
okay.
Looking at,
Fair enough.
Looking at,
I struggle to walk through doors.
Now looking at it in 2021, if I don't have 3 other people with me and I walk into a room, I feel really uncomfortable.
All right.
Yeah. Well, maybe you
Let's-
could chat to her again.
Maybe, she
Yeah.
has a therapy on the side.
Yeah, but this whole 2013 era was just us really pulling it together and being incredibly uncomfortable and working to our full extent, and developing work ethic to write songs that would be competing with these massive pop
Yep.
songs that One Direction had. Because
Yeah.
we knew we would have to get up there and have great songs. It
Right.
couldn't just be, so we're really we went to song school to some extent in these periods, and we're writing multiple songs every day.
Yeah, and if you think about how we got there in December and we were writing like fucking crazy, and we're meant to play this show in February, and I remember how much we rehearsed on that the last stop on the Red Line or whatever. That was like
Oh, it was...
Yeah.
Fuck, what's the place?
yeah,
It's
that's
the,
where
it's the
the
main
fucking
place.
clock tower thing, and it was like
Yeah, what is that station?
Yeah.
Geez, so much Pret.
So much prep. Oh my god.
That's the King's.
King's Cross?
King's Cross.
Yeah, I think it
King's
was-
Cross. And it had a weird like
it
word in it,
was-
like pancreas or something.
Yeah.
It have
It
pancreas
did,
in
yeah.
it.
You know what I mean?
King's Street.
What? I always
Pancreas or something.
thought that. Why does it say pancreas in the name?
I don't know.
It's probably some ancient
I
thing.
think it is, yeah.
Some guy lost his pancreas there. And we would, again, spend our time rehearsing there, going home, going to sleep the next day, writing a song. And then it was, if we weren't writing, we were rehearsing every single day. Like, we didn't take a day off.
Or live streaming.
Or live streaming.
That's all
It
we
was-
would do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Literally, for like, since we got there in December, we were like, fuck it, just
Yeah.
all the way.
Yeah, there was nothing else to do.
I remember the only time we took off was over Christmas, which is when we all broke up and went to different places or whatever. And as I was looking around, I was like, holy fuck. It felt so weird. I was like, I'm in
Yeah.
London
That is strange.
with a day off.
Yeah.
I was like, this is weird. I don't like
Yeah.
this.
And at this point in time, I think we were making £175 a week each.
We had asked our managers.
Oh, £120.
Yeah,
I
we'd
think-
asked them
I
to
thought
give
it was
us
a month.
No. Oh.
I don't know.
I don't know. I remember definitely it was not enough.
No,
I remember us
no.
complaining to them being like, guys, we can't even afford the trains. Do you have any idea? These trains are
Yeah.
fucking ridiculous.
Yeah.
Yep.
Was that our money?
Yeah, we made that from the merchandise on the tour the year before.
Wow.
Yeah. And we were like just drip feeding
Rationed.
it to us.
Yeah,
ration.
we had about $12,000 in the bank. I
So we
don't
were
know
rolling.
why I remember these things.
Essentially rolling.
Someone
in-
had to remember it. Someone
we
had
were
to.
s-
Oh, I know why. Because you're the only adult at whatever point, or the
Oh, yeah.
oldest.
Yeah.
So
I
s-
had the card.
yeah, someone
the
had to
band
be
card.
like,
You were the only person who was legally not a minor.
yes, you had to approve all the payments. So
But they
I didn't
only-
know any of the payments.
They only stopped. They only stopped doing that 3 years ago. I feel like.
So you've been paying me for the last.
yeah. Can
And then we get to O2 Arena where
I
we're
frame this?
Yes.
It's
please.
just like ridiculous.
It's
this
fucking
part.
crazy. Yeah.
Because this now One Direction have really the phenomena is raging, and everybody on earth knows who this band is, and they're so successful. The O2 holds about what 28,000 people,
Yeah.
and they're so successful. They have 11 days of matinees planned.
Yeah.
So
2 shows a day.
2 shows a day for
Of
2
what?
weeks, pretty much
20,000 people, 40,000 people a day,
a day.
11 times.
And this was how we learned how to play in arenas. So we're coming out of the rehearsal space. We're making good progress. We're starting to sound tighter as a band.
Mhm.
I got to go and buy a drum kit, which I remember for this tour.
There goes the rest of that 12.
And I was like, and it cost $1,700, and it was a Gretsch drum kit, and it was purple and stripy or whatever.
I remember
that.
Yeah.
And I
We
brought
had
it
that
home.
for a hell of a long time.
Yeah, and that thing took us into the, we played these O2 matinee shows, and it's absolutely insane. There's people coming and going. We're observing the 1D guys under immense amount of stress because they're playing matinee
Like the
O2s.
most famous people on the planet at this point.
And we're kind of just buzzing around in the background doing our own little five sauce thing. Like, we would walk out into the lobby of the venues to get Nando's, and not a soul would know us.
Yeah.
We were sweet. We were just doing our thing, and we played 5 songs a day, well, twice a day for 10 days.
Yep.
It's
And I
really
feel like
boot camp.
this was like trial by fire as a live band. It was like, get out there in front of 28,000 people. You've only ever played to 1,000 people. Good luck.
Mm.
Yep.
Yeah, our biggest gig was probably 2,000 maybe.
Yeah. Maybe like and more.
Which no one knew our songs. We had no songs. We were playing unreleased music as well.
I
which
don't
was
even
crazy.
think we played any of the like. I think we played Beside You,
Yeah.
but I don't even think we played Gotta Get Out or like anything
No.
that we had released. So I feel like everyone in the crowd was, even if you knew who we are,
Yeah.
there was no way that you could know any of the songs.
So what we were attempting to do was win this audience over with songs they'd never heard, just with pure stage presence.
Yeah.
Like, that's
from a band they'd never heard
from
of.
a band they never heard of, from a band that's only played, by this point in time, we had played 22 shows.
Yeah.
So,
Jeez.
the next 2 weeks that we're about to go through in 2013 when we started this One Direction tour was like pretty much like cutting our teeth on how to... Our playing changed drastically in this next 2 weeks. I feel like we were
That-
like, oh, that's how you play.
From the beginning to the end of that whole Take Me Home tour for
Yeah.
us was like we were a different band.
Oh yeah.
We were literally a completely different band.
We were learning how to talk on stage, how to move on stage, how to like preserve your body during a tour. Like
Yep.
we were learning the stresses that came with it, like learning how to do it. You know? And
Yep.
it was we were just playing in front of that kabuki,
Yeah.
Oh,
which would
Beautiful
you know,
kabuki.
I'm playing drums and this thing because they didn't want the 1D set to be exposed, they would just drape a giant like 100-foot tall black sheer thing, and it would rest on the back of me, so I'd be
There were times where I'd turn around and Ashton would start to get enveloped in the kabuki, and I'd see you like, you'd battle the kabuki the whole set. You'd be like playing drums and you'd use your drumstick to like get it off of you. And then I think there was a point where we had to be like, hey, we need to move everything just forwards a little bit because
Please.
Ashton's getting suffocated by
and
a
I
kabuki.
think it were one of the things I actually, when I got a chance to talk to one of the One Direction guys, I'd mention the kabuki. I'd be like, everything else is incredible.
Yeah, thank
you
so
for this
much.
opportunity. Please move the fucking kabuki because it is eating me alive
I'm
every night and
suffocating.
I can't move.
That's funny. Do you guys really? So I don't know, Western Sydney there. I don't like. I remember this tour. I remember watching them, but I feel like I don't remember a lot of it.
It
Like-
was pretty repetitious and tiring.
That was I remember we had like phases of when we're doing something like the show. We played 5 or 6 songs, played for 25 minutes, 30
Yep.
minutes a night, and that was our sole purpose. Just fucking get great at
Yeah.
playing live with songs that no one knows and no one knows
Yeah.
who the band is. That was like the
I
whole
have-
purpose.
I have more memories of like rehearsing for the shows
Yeah.
Yeah.
than I do for the actual
But
shows.
I
Yeah.
wonder psychologically, like, is it because of the cortisol levels we had that we just can't remember these things? Like, I honestly
Just
don't
everything
know.
was moving at like 150 miles an hour.
Yeah. And I remember
Yeah.
we were making adjustments to the set all the time. We would really critically think about every
Yeah.
single thing we were doing.
Yep.
We would film our shows and watch them back to see if
Oh
we're
my
not like how we
God.
were moving.
like a football team.
And to learn like how to harmonize, I remember we would stand out in the middle of the arenas when 1D would play, and you would listen to people like Zayn harmonize with that group, and you would be like, that's how you harmonize.
Yeah. Like
With
the-
with a big band and a big PA.
yeah.
Like that's how you
Yeah, it's still to this day like that tour from 1D is like probably one of the best shows, live shows
Absolutely.
I've ever seen.
because it was like the whole world was waiting to get into that room with them. It
Yeah.
was nuts.
Yeah.
It was absolutely nuts.
And I remember a good, after we had done the UK Europe tour with 1D, I remember the next stop, the promised land of Miami.
Oh,
Oh yeah,
We were coming.
Sight.
We were coming, and it was like America.
Yeah, America.
we'd never been to, because this is before we
In
met
2013.
Feldy, before we came to
310.
LA at all.
305.
305.
Because I remember landing in Miami. It was such a strange place to first
Yeah.
land, and I remember there was like, I don't know how we knew, but there was people outside because for some reason it had been building in America.
No, I think we tweeted, hey,
Oh, we're going to Miami.
we're coming to Miami and
Okay.
we're landing at this time.
Yeah, we would tweet everything.
Yeah.
Dude,
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
damn.
that was our first like swarm of people trying to get out. Do you remember that?
Yeah.
I remember going down the escalators
Yeah.
and seeing.
It was the first time it happened to us, and we said, holy fuck.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was the first time we'd seen like American fans ever.
And for some reason, it was apparently people had heard of us in America.
Yeah.
And no idea how. And for an Australian band to be heard of in America is like the
Yum.
dream.
Mm-hmm.
Like the dream,
for
you know?
some reason, we had to fly through Dallas to get there because I remember being at that airport.
And then we went through Dallas Customs, and it took us about 4 hours. I remember it was like the snakiest line I've ever seen. It just kept going.
Oh yeah, the
awful.
American customs guys
But
are very
this-
scary.
Yeah,
Yep.
this point in time was kind of like we were pretty just in awe of everything happening. If anything at all is notable, we were just kind of stunned.
Yeah,
Yep.
Miami looked so much like Vice City, Grand Theft Auto.
Yeah,
I couldn't believe it.
totally.
I could not believe how similar they were.
Yeah. And then I mean that tour kind of catapulted our fan base in the US as well.
That was when by that point, we'd had more of a grip on who we were and kind of the music that we wanted to make. And then when we eventually made it to Los Angeles, that was when we met John Feldman, who really helped pull together sort of the first and second record.
Yeah, it was the first guy we'd met who knew exactly how to record the band.
Yeah.
Like, exactly the energy we were going for. And like 2013 was all about the band's image as well.
Mm-hmm.
The image, what image can you create with a budget that can afford Target and Hot Topic? Like, that's literally like, how do we have something that's iconic about our band? How do we appear a certain way that so we have fans of like what we do and
Yeah.
what we are? Because we realized the songs weren't enough.
Yeah.
We have to have a band image, which was so strange to develop in these times as well, because it's literally, we're playing arenas, you know, and we're working it out step by step.
Do you remember when
Budget sauce.
we were walking around Miami the first day, and this is the douchiest story ever, and we were like in flip-flops and jean shorts 'cause it's so fucking hot there, and there was a guy taking photos. Like, this is didn't even question. I was like, why is this guy taking photos? And then every block he would run back, or you'd ride up on his bike and go to the next block and take a photo of us. I was like, that's strange. Why does he keep doing that? And then the photos came out, and they're fucking still there.
Still popping around.
I literally had no idea what that was and why
Yeah.
this. I didn't even question. I wasn't like, that's kind of creepy.
We
It
just
is a little bit creepy.
Yeah.
no, it's definitely creepy.
16-year-old
And then-
boys.
Yeah, then I guess like 2013, we were touring by bus,
Yep.
which was total new thing to us. And so all this time, I think we started to do radio station visits.
Yeah, I think we'd started doing that, and that was when we used to stick our heads out of the bus and
Yeah, we would do acoustic radio visits, like
Yeah.
in between the 1D shows. We had all day to like visit people and
I think we got
do-
sick of when we were in the UK. We'd sit around and we'd wait for
Uh-huh.
it to be 8 p.m. and then we'd play.
Yeah.
And we were like, why don't this time we like try and do something
Yeah.
during the days?
And then I guess in November in 2013, we signed to Capitol Records for a 3-album deal, which was a crazy.
Yeah. And I remember when we were in we were living at this I guess after we'd talked about signing to a label, that was when I remember our first little taste of it was when they rented a house that had a studio at it at Perfect Sound.
a good
And
spot.
that was where Ketchup came from.
Mm-hmm.
That was when we discovered Keek. You know,
Yep.
so many things.
A lot of shit
and
happened.
and that house was fucking awesome.
Oh, dude,
and
yeah.
I just remembered feeling like I was like, oh my god, guys, we've like made it. And it wasn't until like a year later that someone had told me, so you're actually in a lot of debt because of that stay.
Mm-hmm.
No one told us that. And that was when I discovered Panda Express for the first time.
I remember how much debt we're in, $60,000 debt.
Yeah.
That made sense, though.
Do you guys remember at the house there?
The income
Yeah.
compared to the the revenue.
Like, hey, I thought because we have fans now, we must be making money.
That's how it works.
There
we
was
weren't at
people
all.
at the top. I feel like there was way less like boundaries and rules. Well, definitely not since the pandemic. So there's many boundaries, but there was people that would just stay at the top
Mhm.
of the driveway because it was along the nice house. It was like
we lived right next to Hayden Panettiere.
And Drew Barrymore.
Oh.
Andrew Barrymore, yeah.
Did we?
Yeah.
Fuck. Go us.
It was awesome, man.
Yeah.
That explains the debt.
Yes.
Every time you'd have to go for a run,
Oh,
you have to run past like
them.
30.
So it would be like a
Fans.
marathon. You'd be high-fiving,
Yeah.
you'd be getting cups of
can do
water.
it. Yeah.
I remember one girl goes, "Why are you running?"
Why are you
Why
running?
are you
And I didn't have an answer.
I
Oh,
think
well.
it kind of
Thanks,
blew our
man.
minds when we got into the One Direction world how much they looked after themselves. And I think we were like,
Yeah.
oh.
Mm.
Yeah, I'd never worked out a day
We were
in my
just
life.
was slamming McDonald's and
Yeah.
doing whatever. But and then we were like, oh.
Yeah, they had a
Oh,
trainer.
You gotta
You
do
have to
this
look
stuff.
after yourself to do this.
Dude, that's pretty funny. Yeah,
Yeah.
we would use their trainer, we'd use their hair
Yep.
people, the vocal coach. We just
Yep.
feel like ready. We just wanted to get better.
Yeah.
And we didn't
Yeah.
have the money, so we're like, can we like use your
Yeah,
guys?
whenever anyone would be free, we'd be like, oh, we'll give
you
you
know,
like $50.
living in this house in Perfect Sound Studios, we're creating our first EP, which ended up being the She Looks So Perfect EP, which had songs like She Looks So Perfect, Only Reason,
Yep.
Disconnected, and one other one.
Yeah.
So it ended up being a productive time, which is great. But
Yeah.
at this point in time, we're starting to get a taste of like the music business. We're talking to people about deals, and we're working out A&R relationships and like what kind of song would work for us at radio in the US and how these things happen, you know.
Yeah.
But we were basically just writing every day in this house and trying to kind of cultivate something of.
Yep. And I remember one night very vividly. I don't remember who was there with me, but I remember being there, and they had these like windows at the top, and I was sitting there one night, and then I saw a flashlight on the house.
Oh yeah, cue animation.
Yeah, I was like,
Oof.
oh fuck.
Is Liz? Oh, Liz would remember this as well.
Yeah, I remember like, fuck, what's like, who's pointing a flashlight at the house? And I was like, this is really weird. And then I waited, and I'd like look over, and then someone's banging on the door. I was like, holy shit. I was like, and it was like dead of night at this point, and I was too scared to answer the door. And I think, did Liz go and answer the door?
It sounds like Liz would have.
I think Liz went. And
Hello.
Yeah, she's like, hello, and I think she answered the door, and then I just remember I was looking from the top of the staircase, like just barely my eyes poking out over the railing, and then Liz shut the door and she'd walk back inside, and I was like, Liz, what happened? Who was it? And she was like, Michael, go to bed. And then it took me the next day to find out that someone ordered male strippers.
Oh,
to the
yeah.
house,
Which was our first taste of Hollywood.
which was Hollywood, and I can't believe Liz sent him away.
Yeah. What are you doing,
Get on in
Liz?
here, mate.
Been away from.
Well,
You know-
that's a story that we know.
You know what as well, like it's notable. So now because the band is aware that we're starting to be more functional about choosing what kind of music we're going to make, I start to remember things we were listening to. And the biggest song in the house at the time, whilst we were writing our first record, and the biggest album was the first 1975.
Yeah.
Chocolate.
We were blasting Chocolate in the city,
Mhm.
round and round and round and round and
Yeah.
round every day.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
I remember that.
And we were loving that stuff.
And then we signed to a major label deal, and that's when we gave away our livelihoods.
What's this?
Just kidding, we gave
When
away
did
our
the album
livelihoods
come
before
out?
I
that.
think, the album came out. Oh yeah, in
Came out June of
2014 as well.
2014.
June.
Yeah,
June
so
27th.
Oh, okay. So
So
we did a
the
bunch of
album-
EPs before.
Yeah, I
let's
think
try.
we did.
Yeah, so then I guess end of 2013 for us was when we signed a deal, and that was when I guess we kind of understood that there was more on the line than just kind of fucking around and making music, and we had to get it together and not just make a bunch of videos dressed up as superheroes, which we ended up doing anyway. But I don't know why I dressed up as Spider-Man. I don't know why I did that.
shit happens, man. Doing it on the fly. We're in
Shit
flow
happens.
state.
Shit happens.
And then what happened at the end of 2013?
Yeah, man.
Get some.
Cut.